So whoever's more convinced is simply going to win. Guys, this is my 5th time filming this video, but I'm not going to let anything stop me. And the reason why the other videos didn't work was because I was trying, I turned off my AC, right? Like, I wanted it to be like a sauna in here. I was sweating so much, and I was trying to be as uncomfortable as possible so I can like speak better in the video, but you know, my phone kept overheating. I couldn't film the video and it just didn't work out. So I have to turn on the AC, unfortunately. I wanted to avoid doing that, but it is what it is. But guys, the point that I'm trying to make with this video, right, is whoever's more convinced wins, right? But a lot of you guys don't know what that actually means, right? Look, everyone has fears. It doesn't matter if you've accomplished your goals or you're striving towards them. Everyone, even the successful people and poor people, they both have fears. But the difference is that successful people don't allow their fears to influence what they do, and they understand that their strive to make a change, their strive to improve is far greater than their fear of failure. Because I feel failure too. And 4 months ago, when I made the decision to go all in on documenting my journey, you know, posting content and doing all these things, it was the scariest thing in the world. It was the scariest thing in the whole world. Putting yourself out there, posting consistently, having your friends, your family, everyone just judge you. Everyone judging you. Everyone misunderstanding you. But I had to understand that being misunderstood is the price you pay for being different. Being misunderstood is the price you pay for average people not understanding why you do the things you do. And I'm not saying this in a way to, you know, belittle other people or to talk badly about other people, but I'm saying this so that you guys can understand, you know, the people that are in the same situation as me and they're trying to accomplish the same thing, and you're watching this video right now probably because you are on the same journey, or probably because in the future you want to do a similar thing and you're trying to see where I came from, because this is where I came from. This is 4 months. This is me 4 months into my self-development journey, and I'm so conscious of the fact that I need to be documenting how I'm feeling, what I'm going through, and what I'm doing at this time, so that in the future I can inspire other people to do the same thing. Because in this time, you guys have no idea what I've had to sacrifice. You know, I don't hang out with people I care about well, I barely do, you know. I don't do anything for fun anymore. I like, bro, I literally have sacrificed so many things, and the biggest thing was my time, right? Before I was on this self-development journey, I was stingy with my money, but I would give my time to anybody. And now I'm stingy with my time, and I'm not as stingy with my money. I just get, like, obviously I'm not dumb with my money. I only invest it into you know, either my business, the people around me that I care about, or my mentors. And I'm doing that, and I'm investing my money into those things, and I'm not being stingy with that, because I understand that, you know, free efforts give you free results. And if I want the best results possible, I need to invest as much money possible. And you know, better results are tied to you investing more, you putting in more effort, you just being better, you know what I mean? Because that's how you get better. You get better by investing in yourself and investing time and effort into yourself. Let me make sure it's still recording. All right, bet it's still recording, guys. The phone isn't overheating. But here's the thing, right? When I made the decision to go all in, of course I felt the emotion of fear. Of course I was scared. But guess what? I understood that there was a goal that I wanted to accomplish, and I wasn't gonna let anything stop me. I wasn't going to let anything limit me from becoming that person. Because it's not about the goals, but it's about who am I going to become on the way. And the person that I want to become, I understand that I'm not going to settle in any area of my life. I'm not going to settle when I know I'm meant for greater. I'm not going to settle when I know I can accomplish great things. Guys, let me just give you, a personal brief summary of what got me to the position I'm in now, right? So, beginning of this year, January, I was in a relationship. Early February, boom, we break up. After this relationship ended, I was like, fuck, what the fuck am I gonna do? Because I went from putting so much time into a relationship and not into myself. Bro, when I was in the relationship, I didn't have a job. I wasn't focused on improving my life at all. All I cared about was the relationship, right? And I wasn't really focused on anything else. All I was focused on was my relationship, hanging out with my friends, you know, doing things that just having, you know, momentary pleasures, having fun, doing all these things. But I wasn't, you know, focused on building anything for my future. And, you know, in January, I was 18, you know, February, I turned 19, but it's like, the moment I turned 19, everything changed, because I'm like, fuck, like, in my head, I was old. In my head, I am old. In my head, I'm like, damn, I'm 19 and I still haven't accomplished the things that I said I was going to accomplish by the time I was 19. It's like, dog, I told myself when I was 16, 15, I was going to be in a way better position in my life than the one that I was looking in front of my eyes. And I'm like, fuck, I just wasted all this time. I just wasted so much time and effort into things that I'm not getting anything back from it. And that's the moment when I realized, I'm like, fuck, I need to start building my future. I need to start building something, right? I was tired of being in debt, right? Because the whole time I was in the relationship, I was in debt. I didn't have a job. But at the same time, I had the self-belief in myself that it didn't matter, that I was going to make the money back instantly, right? And that was just because I believed in myself so much and I walked by faith. I understood that I was like $2,000 in debt, and I understood that, you know, in the future, it's not going to matter to me, so why would I care about it now? But that's just my mentality, right? And then, boom, I started looking for jobs, right? Guys, it took me literally like so long to find the job. I was just looking, applying to every single place. I went to like 10 different car dealerships just looking for jobs, right? I remember I asked one of them, I walked in, I was like, yo, are you guys, you know, do you guys have any jobs? And then it was for a car salesman position, right? And then they were like, oh, do you have any experience in sales? And I always knew, I'm like, okay, I'm good at talking to people. I'm good at articulating my thoughts. This could be something I would be good at, right? And then, you know, they obviously they're not going to give me the car salesman position straight up. So they gave me another one for cold calling. And then I was like, nah, it's not really for me. I don't want to just sit in on a computer, you know, calling random people 24/7. And then, so I didn't take that job, right? And then I went into this car dealership. Didn't work out. I went into like 5 dealerships, and it's like I asked them for jobs. A lot of them weren't hiring. I went to a lot of restaurants. You know, I wanted to be a server, right? That because I understood that, you know, out of the normal jobs, like the jobs for I guess entry level, I guess type of jobs, and like, okay, servers probably make the most amount of money, at least in my head, right? So I was like, all right, bet, let me be a server. And then I had this one interview, right? I had a friend that worked at this one restaurant. And then I applied online. They actually called me for an interview, and I completely lied on the resume. I lied on it completely. I said I had been a server somewhere else, but the thing is, I lied, but I did all the research that I could do in order to figure out what I had to do, right? I memorized every single steak cut. I memorized every single wine. I memorized every single thing a server is supposed to do. I just searched up, how does a server do this? How does it do that? And I started literally taking notes. For 2 weeks, I prepared for this interview. And then boom, I got the interview. I had 2 ladies that interviewed me. The first one was like an older lady, and you know, you could tell that she didn't suspect that I wasn't being truthful, right? You could tell that she knew, or not that she knew, but she was like, okay, you seem like a pretty good fit. She was like, okay, yeah, you have a good personality, whatever it is, and she liked me. But then this other lady came, right? She was probably in her mid-30s. And then this lady was more, you know, aggressive with their questions. She was asking me like little specific things. She was asking me like, oh, did you usually close? Did you usually open? And then she was like, okay, what were your closing duties? And I was like, fuck. Like, she was asking me like these specific ass questions that I didn't prepare for. And I understood. I'm like, damn. I'm like, there's nothing I could do. There's nothing I can do. I just made bullshit answers. And I was like, oh, close. Bro, but she could tell I was capping, right? And it just goes to show, if you're not being authentically yourself, it's never going to work. It doesn't matter what you're trying to do in life. Lying is not going to get you anywhere. And ever since that day, ever since I lied, you know, to become that server, I haven't lied since, because I understand that you need to be authentically yourself in whatever you're doing in life, right? And okay, I wanted a job, right? I wanted to become a server, but you know, me not being authentically myself would have gotten me there. You know, maybe there's other people that they have done it, but I just understood that I need to do with what's authentic to me. I need to be the authentic version of myself, because in reality, I'm not a good liar. You know, the reason why I didn't get that job was because I'm not a good liar. And the reason why I'm not a good liar is because I don't lie often. You know what I mean? That was literally the only time I had. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm perfect, but like, I'm talking about things like that. Like, I don't lie, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't. At least, like, for things like that, you guys know what I mean. Like, I'm human at the end of the day. Like, of course, bro, but whatever. We don't even have to explain that. But boom, I didn't get that job. And then I had this job at the beach, right? So this was the most physically intense job I had ever worked. This job was a nightmare, to say the least. To say the least, it was a nightmare. I get there, right, first day, it's the sun. Just working in the sun is absolutely terrible. Every single day, 5 days a week, getting the sun. I was literally sunburned every single day. My acne would break out like crazy. Um, my acne would break out like crazy. My bosses wouldn't even let us drink water in public. Bro, they wouldn't even let, if you drank water, they would literally start yelling at you. You know, we would have to walk in the back or something to drink water, but it taught me that, like, dog, like, bro, I was just so uncomfortable because I knew I was meant for more. Like, dog, I would get there at 6 a.m., wake up at 5. Some days I had to wake up at 4 and get there at 5. We would start unloading, literally, no exaggeration, 800 chairs from the back of the beach. We'd have to take them off. They're on stacks of 10. We had to put them on our back, one in the front, one person in the back. They're like lounge chairs. We'd have to walk them out to the front of the beach, set them out, take them off of the stacks, and then put them in rows. Literally 800 to 1,000 chairs. We had to do this every single day. And then every single night, we had to stack them up and put them to the back, right? So, you know, if I was opening, I would have to take out the stacks, put it, you know, and it was only like 3 or 4 of us in a day, right? 3 or 4 people doing all that work. And it would take us probably like 2 to 3 hours. You know, some days we wouldn't unload all of them depending on how busy it was going to be. But, you know, there were so many lessons I learned from that job. So many weird people that worked at that job. You know what I mean? And I understood that I was out of place. Like, I was out of place. And there was also a lot of cool people that worked there. Don't get me wrong. There was a lot of cool people that worked there. But there was, you know, still people that were 40, 50, 60 years old. And they're working, you know, on the beach, right? And, you know, that there's nothing wrong with that. But some of the things that they would do and the ways that they would act was a little bit strange. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was a little bit strange, just to say the least, right? And I always understood, I'm like, okay, I'm meant for more, I'm meant for greater. I know that I have the ability, like, God blessed me with the ability to become good at whatever I put my mind to. And I understood that, okay, this is, you know, a temporary type of job for the moment, but I'm not gonna stay here forever. So boom, I was there for maybe around a month and a half. I got out of debt, and I finally had like a decent amount of money just in my bank account, just so that I can, you know, survive and invest it into myself. You know what I mean? And I hadn't felt that in such a long time because I had bought my car August of last year. I bought my car August of last year, cash, myself. I paid for 80% of it. My dad paid for 20. And after that, I was broke because I paid it in cash. I paid all my money for the car because I wanted the best car possible. And I understood that I was going to make more money in the future. So it's whatever. I'm just going to go all in on the car that I want. And, you know, so boom, I got the car, I was broke. And then I work on the beach. You know, my brother starts working with me there. And then boom, we get into an argument with our manager, right? Manager was being hella disrespectful. He thought he could talk to my brother in a disrespectful way. And then he came to him. And then my brother came to him. He's like, dog, don't ever fucking talk to me like that ever again. You know, it's unacceptable. And then, you know, after that, me and my brother probably worked like 2 or 3 days after that, and then we quit. You know what I mean? We quit because at the end of the day, we value our self-respect more, and it doesn't matter, you know, who we're working for. If that person isn't gonna have respect, then there's no point. You know what I mean? Because, you know, something we both have in common is that respect is the most important thing. And as a guy, you need to make sure that people around you respect you. It doesn't matter what position they're in. It doesn't matter what they're doing. It doesn't matter if your parents, you know, they have to respect you. You know what I mean? And that's exactly the most important thing, because if people respect you, your life is just going to be better. You know what I mean? Because if they don't respect you, they're going to mistreat you. They're not going to treat you as good. And if they don't respect you, that's actually a self-reflection that you don't respect yourself. Because if you genuinely respect yourself, you're not going to allow other people to disrespect you. And when other people feel like they're you know, okay with disrespecting you, it's probably a self-reflection that you let them know that it was okay. But the thing is, sometimes, you know, when people are just meeting you, right? Because, you know, my manager had just met my brother. He was new. They don't know the type of person you are. And it happens. It's like, it doesn't matter who you are, a certain person is going to try to disrespect you. And it's up to you if you're gonna allow that to happen or if you're gonna allow it to keep on happening. So let me just check if it's still it's still recording. But boom, right? Disrespects him. We get out of that job and we're chilling. And after this, I remember I would go to work every single day, and all I would think about, all that was on my mind for some reason, right? It was just, things that weren't benefiting me, right? I was just thinking about, my past relationship, like what I did. I was just thinking about all those things, overthinking every single little thing, and I just, I wasn't focused on, I guess, improving my life. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of you guys out there, you might relate to that. You might get out of a relationship, and then, the first month to 2 months after the relationship ends, all you're thinking about is what you did, how you could have done that better, or, what happened, or whatever it is. And it's like, it's not even like a choice, right? Like, I didn't choose to always think about that. It just kind of happened. As the time passed, it kind of, just left my mind, right? And I'm just trying to be as transparent as possible with you guys, so you guys can understand my thinking process this whole entire time. So then boom, right? March, I start posting content, right? I got inspired by this one guy, and I'm like, okay, this guy's making content. I have a pretty good physique. Why am I not posting content? Why am I not? And I didn't even have the idea of coaching at that point, right? I was just posting content for fun. I was posting content because I wanted to see it do good, right? So boom, I start posting content for like a month, right? I'm posting maybe like once or twice a week, right? I'm not even being super consistent because it wasn't really a main priority, right? I was just doing it for fun. And I would just post physique pictures, videos, things like that. I wouldn't talk too often. I wouldn't be vulnerable in my posts. But the same guy who inspired me, right? I saw that, he was doing coaching as well, right? And then I was like, okay, this guy, he posts content, he coaches people as well. I know I have amazing physique. I know that I can do the same exact things. I know that, I can, help other people transform their lives the same way that fitness transformed mine. And I knew that I could do that same exact thing. So I'm like, okay, why not start coaching, right? So I changed up my bio. I put it on every post, DM me for coaching, whatever it is. And I got a lot of people that, reached out, right? I got a good amount of people. And, I got people that reached out, right? But I didn't really get my first client. I didn't really get, and because the thing is, I didn't really know how to coach people. And I didn't know how to coach people because I didn't have the blueprint. And I was searching things up on YouTube. I was, doing all these things, but there was still something missing. You know what I mean? There was something missing. So then April 7th, boom, I made the decision to go all in and to get a mentor, right? So basically, this mentor taught me everything from A to Z. He gave me the blueprint on how to become a successful online personal fitness coach, right? And boom, a month after, I got my first mentor. I got my first client. Boom, I got my first client, and then another one, and then another one, and then I just kept getting better and better every single day, right? And it's a learning process, and I've learned so much in the process. And not only am I allowing other people to get into the best physical mental shape of their lives, but it's making me better as well. It's turned me into a better speaker. I'm better at articulating my thoughts. I'm better at leading people, to improve their lives. And I'm setting the example myself by waking up early, by being uncomfortable. I wish this fucking car was hotter than this, but I have no other choice because my phone is gonna fucking overheat. You know what I mean? And it's like, it was a sauna in here, and bro, it was so amazing. It was so amazing being uncomfortable, because sacrifice on my end gives me an energy boost. You know what I mean? When I wake up early and I go on a run immediately, that high that I get is fucking insane. That's fucking insane. And then boom, right? Start coaching people, and then around March as well, right? I got another job, and then boom, I'm working at my job, and at the same time I'm working on my content. I'm working with my clients. I'm doing all these things, and I'm juggling all these things, and I'm still doing that to this day. You know what I mean? I only work like 3 to 4 days a week, but I'm a lot of you guys say you don't have time for the gym, right? But I'm over here, I'm juggling time for the gym, right? Coaching people, my job, you know. I sometimes I spend time with my family, not a lot, but you know, there's sacrifices I have to make. That's not what I personally want, but it's like I'm juggling so many different things. And you know, I used to work more days, and now I cut it down because I want to focus more on max out fitness coaching. And that's exactly what I'm doing. And I'm taking advantage of every single hour of every single day that I have, because I understand that this is the time when I have to make the most amount of sacrifices. It's when I'm young, so I can build up my future for the right foundation, for the right life. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm doing. I'm sacrificing my sleep. I'm waking up at 5 a.m. I'm doing 100 push-ups. I'm doing a cold shower. You know, I'm going to bed early. It's like I'm doing all these things and I'm building the right habits. I'm building these small habits that are going to stack up over time. I've been reading this book called Atomic Habits, and it's completely changed my perspective on life in general. And just to tie this all back to, you know, the opening line of this video is that who's more convinced is going to win. You know, a lot of you guys have fears, right? But what's going to be stronger? Your fears, when in reality... Well, so, no. That's not what I meant to say. What I meant to say is that the only thing you should fear is you not becoming the person you want to be. The only thing you should fear is you not fulfilling your potential. The only thing you should doubt is your limiting beliefs. The only thing you should doubt is when other people say you can't be the person that you want to be and can accomplish the things you want to be. Guys, I turned down the AC right now because I want this car to get as hot as possible, because I feel like when I'm sacrificing, you know, my comfort, I'm able to speak better. And I think if I'm able to articulate myself better, everything is going to go better for everyone watching this. And, you know, hopefully my phone doesn't overheat. Let me see. Oh yeah, it's not overheating. But guys, look. The scariest decision I've made in the last 4 months is the decision that bared the most fruit. Every single time I sacrifice, every single time I put myself in an uncomfortable situation, it's made me so much better as a person. You know what I mean? Like, bro, I cannot tell you guys how many times I wanted to go hang out with my friends, but I had to say no because I had to work on my program, because I had a call with one of my clients, because I had to do one of these things. I cannot tell you, but the thing is, I understood that there was no other choice, because how can I my bad. Because how can I hang out with my friends if I understand that my clients need me, if I understand that these people literally depend on me? How can I do that? And I know that if I did hang out with them, I would constantly be in the back of my mind of, oh, I shouldn't be doing this because I have a bigger purpose, because I have something else to do. And I wouldn't even be able to enjoy it. So if I know that if I wouldn't even be able to enjoy it, then there's no point in me even going at first, because I'm not going to enjoy it and I have other things I have to do. It's not that I don't want to see my friends. It's not that I don't want to spend time with my family. It's not that I don't want to have fun. It's the fact that the person that I want to be and who I strive to become every single day, you know, I fear not being that person. I fear not living up to my potential. I fear not accomplishing my goals. And the reason why is because I understand my potential. I understand that God blessed me with the ability that a lot of other people weren't blessed with. I understand that God placed this burden on my heart because he understood that I was the one that was able to carry it out. You know what I mean, guys? I have 65 YouTube subscribers right now. I have 1.2 thousand Instagram followers right now. I have how many TikTok followers? Like 90. But it's not about the followers for me. I'm saying this so you guys can document, so you guys can understand where I'm at right now, and then you can compare it to where I'm at in the future. Because obviously, I'm not gonna stay with 65 subscribers forever. You know, the thing is, the more I post, the more I'm consistent, the more I'm more vulnerable, the more I outpour my heart and I tell you guys what I've been through, the more I just do that consistently, you know, the more that I'm going to grow. Because, you know, if you guys look at the wine that tastes the best, right? It's the wine that had to go through the most challenges. It's the wine vines that had to, you know, weave themselves through these intricate patterns so that they can find sun. And that is what bears the best wine. That's what makes the most fruit. It's the ones that had to struggle. It's the ones that didn't have an easy life. Holy shit, my phone's hot. You turn on the AC. But it just goes to show how struggle makes you better. When you go through these challenges, it makes you a better person, because you're able to overcome these challenges. And every single time you fail, that's when you understand that, okay, this doesn't work, that doesn't work, that doesn't work, that doesn't work. Once you fail enough times, you understand what doesn't work. And once you understand what doesn't work, you know what does work, right? And that is the difference between successful people and people who aren't successful, because they both feel fear. They both feel discouraged at times. Guys, before I made this video, I felt like taking a nap. I wake up early every day. The body isn't used to waking up when it's still dark outside. I wake up and I see the stars, I see the moon, and I thank God for blessing me with another day. I thank God that I'm in the position that I'm able to improve my life. I thank God that He gave me the intelligence and the wisdom to make right choices in my life. But it's like every single time I sacrifice for myself, I sacrifice how I feel. And then instead of taking that nap, I drove to this random parking lot. I set up my phone and I'm speaking to you guys through this phone. And hopefully you guys can feel the energy. No, not hopefully. I know you guys can feel the energy and the conviction of what I'm saying, because of the way that I'm just being authentic, the way that I'm expressing myself through these videos. And that's what it's about. It's about documenting your journey from A to Z, so that you can inspire somebody else to be that's in the same situation. Because the thing is, dog, you guys don't understand how I used to be a consumer. I used to watch everyone else living the life that I wanted. I used to just watch everyone else win, and I would just have a victim mentality in my house, thinking, why are these people so blessed and why am I not in that same situation? This person was born like this. This person had it easy. This person didn't have to fail like me. In reality, that person probably failed more than me. That person probably came from a worse situation than me. That person, I don't even know what the fuck he's been through, and I'm just seeing the life he's living. And since I'm jealous, I'm just gonna hate on him, and I'm just gonna say he got it easy just to make myself feel better for being a piece of shit. And that used to be me. I used to be the person that hated on other people doing good. And it was because I didn't understand what it took to get there. And it was because I didn't understand. Notice, I didn't understand. When you look at people that hate, you look at people that have victim mentalities, the truth is that they just don't understand. They don't understand what it takes. They don't understand the mindset you have to be, because the mindset is the most important thing. They don't understand. They don't understand. For the people that hate on me, I don't even get mad at them, because the truth is they don't understand why I do the things I do. They don't understand why I say the things I say. They don't understand that my fear of not fulfilling my potential, my fear of not being the person that God knows that I can be, and the reason why God put me on this earth, my fear of not becoming that person is greater than my fears of failure, my fears of judgment from others. Guys, I've been judged by other people since I was in pre-K. I've always been the weird kid. And the thing is, when I was younger, I would always try to fit in with the group. I would always try to fit in with what everyone is doing. I always wanted to look cool. I always wanted to prove myself to everyone. I always wanted everyone else's self-validation. And it's like I was working out and I had a good physique, but I would still try to seek other people's approval, because I was still insecure of myself, because I had zero discipline. I would go to the gym. I loved working out. I loved seeing progress. But I understood that I had no discipline, because I loved doing it. Because discipline is doing what you don't want to do. And okay, yes, the first couple of months, right, it was a little bit uncomfortable because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. But once I got the flow, it's like it gets to a point where it's not hard to go to the gym. Like, this is literally just easy. It's my lifestyle. And I was going to the gym, but I wasn't doing anything else with my time. I was going to the gym, but I was beating my meat twice a day. I was chasing pointless. I was just chasing girls pointlessly, not, trying to not just pointlessly. And it's like I would just chase. I wouldn't think about how can I just become better so that I don't have to chase, right? And that's where I think most guys go wrong, is that they're always trying to chase, but they're not thinking about how can I become better. But the thing is, okay, I got better from working out, but I wasn't even maximizing any other area of my life. So what the fuck is the point? I was still drinking. I was still wasting my time. I was still playing video games. So of course I'm not gonna have confidence. And the thing is, I knew there was better I could be doing. Let me see if it's still recording. I bet. I knew I was meant for greater. I knew that there was more left on my plate that I could give. And that's why I had no confidence. And another thing is I had no accomplishments, because confidence is backed by, you know, relentlessly proving that your confidence is valid, right? Confidence is built by the accomplishments and the actions that you've made prior, right? So if you don't have the confidence that you want in your life, you need to ask yourself, what did I do in the past months from now that are supposed to make me confident? And if you haven't accomplished anything, if you haven't worked hard, if you haven't proved to yourself anything, of course you're not going to feel confidence. But it's not even about the results, but it's about knowing, did I put in my full effort? Did I put in my full effort into whatever I was doing? And if you do know you put in your full effort, then you're going to be confident. You're going to be confident in yourself because you understand what your full effort is. Nobody else understands that. And that's why I had no confidence, because I was working out, but I wasn't doing anything else outside of it. You can't just work out and expect your life to be perfect. It's not just about that. Yes, working out gave me way more confidence than I had before. Yes, working out improved my life way before. And it also unlocked that head in my brain. It unlocked that part of my brain that understood delayed gratification. I understood doing something today and seeing the results 6 months later. And little did I know, I'm translating that same exact principle into max out fitness coaching. I'm translating that same exact principle into every single other area of my life. Delayed gratification. And that's where true success comes from. True success comes from sacrificing delayed gratification, optimizing your efforts, not just putting in effort, but optimizing it so you can be stronger. Because I always used to say, how you start is more important than how you finish. But the thing is, what I realized is that how you start doesn't matter if you finish in last place. You can have a head start, but if you finish in last place, then what the fuck was the point of the head start? And my dad told me the other day at his birthday dinner, he was like, look, I told him, I was like, look, the how you start matters more than how you finish. And he told me, no, you're wrong. He told me how you finish is more important than how you start. And in the moment, I didn't really understand it. And in the moment, I was like, in the moment, I disagreed with him. But the more I thought about it, and I was reading a verse in the Bible today, and it said, how you finish is more important than how you start. You know, the thing is, we're born sinners, right? But if you finish by repenting for your sins, you finish by, you know, following Jesus Christ, then that's what matters. Because a lot of people can, you know, a lot of people can, you know, because a lot of people can start a certain type of way, but if you let that momentum go to waste and you don't fucking finish in first place, like, bro, it was pointless. You know what I mean? And that's the most valuable lesson, knowing that how you finish is more important. Because think about it like this. I used to say, people are born the way they are and they can't change. I don't know why the fuck I used to say that, because my life is literally living proof that you can change, then that you can become better. My life is proof of that. My life is proof that you can come from the bottom and make it all the way to the top. Before I started in the gym, I couldn't even do a push-up. I couldn't even do anything. And I always thought people who were stronger than me were just genetically born that way. Guys, I would do arm wrestles with girls and I would lose. I would do arm wrestles with anybody and I would lose. And I would be like, damn, how the fuck are these people so strong? They're just more genetically gifted than me. And okay, maybe in middle school, right? They're more genetically gifted, because, you know, nobody's going to the gym in middle school. But like, dog, once you get to high school, once you get to become older, at that point it's your fault. It's your fault you're fucking weak. It's your fault because you didn't put in the work. It's because you didn't work on improving your strength. And it's like, physicality is everything. It's like, bro, if you're skinny, if you don't fucking respect yourself, like, other people are gonna feel that energy off of you. And it's like, guys, it never gets easier. Every single day, the work is still hard. Every single day, I need to learn new things, and it's uncomfortable. But they say in order to become smarter, you have to feel dumb. In order to get stronger, you need to feel weak. In order to appreciate love, you need to feel hate. And that's what it's about, guys. I don't hate anyone in my life. Anybody who has ever done anything wrong to me. I wish everyone the best. I love everybody. Everybody. And everyone that's watching this video, I want you guys to know I love each and every one of you. And I want to see you guys win at the end of the day. And if you've made it this far, it's probably because you're meant for greatness. It's probably because you're trying to see where I came from. You're trying to see my mindset. You're trying to see how do I think. Because in all of these videos, the whole thing, everything that I'm talking about is how I think, my mindset, because I understand if I'm able to share this mindset that was able to change my life so that I can improve my life, why would I not share this mindset with other people? And it doesn't matter in what area you're trying to improve in life. If you're trying to become a pro piano player, all these same principles apply to you. All these same principles. Delayed gratification. You know, your fear of not fulfilling your potential is greater than your fear of failure. Because everyone feels a fear of failure. But you need to ask yourself, am I successful or am I unsuccessful? Because successful people don't allow fear to change how they act. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys took something from it. You know, I'm not even sure how long this is because I've been talking for so long. But I need you guys to understand that very soon, I'm going to be in a very different position in my life than I am in today. And the reason why is because I hate the situation I'm in. And I hate the situation I'm in because I understand that I'm meant for greater. It's not that I'm ungrateful for the position I'm in, but I hate it so much to the point where it's gonna force me to level up and it's gonna force me to improve. Because if you don't hate the situation you're in, how do you expect to do better? Guys, I'm in my Nissan Altima right now. Don't get me wrong. I love this car. I worked so hard for it. But at the same time, I hate it. At the same time, I understand I can't stay in this car forever. I can't. And it's just a certain feeling that I have in my heart that I have to constantly be growing. I have to constantly be learning new things. I have to be constantly be getting better. Do I know when I'm going to get rid of this car and get a better one? No, I don't. But I understand that everything is on God's timing. And I understand that I'm super grateful that I even had the ability to purchase this car in the first place. But I understand that there's more in store for me. I'm super grateful for the physique that I have today. But I understand it's only going to get better. And I understand that I'm only going to look better in the future. Because I only allow myself to do that because of the conscious choice that I make to only improve. I made the conscious choice ever since I was born that I'm only going to improve. Did I stumble across the way? Of course. Did I fail countless times? Of course. Did I get made fun of? Of course. Did people doubt me? Of course. Did I feel the emotion of fear? Of course. Did I want to give up? Of course. But did I give up? No. I can confidently say I didn't give up. Guys, my senior year of high school, I wanted to give up on basketball so bad. But I understood if I give up on this, I'm going to be giving up on myself. So I just stuck through it. No matter how uncomfortable it was, I stuck through it because I didn't want to be a quitter. And because I've quitted on so many things in the past and I understood that that is not the person who I wanted to be. I didn't want to be that person. So I made the conscious choice, if I start something, I'm going to finish it. Because if I don't work, nothing works. It doesn't matter what the fuck I try to do in life. If I don't work, nothing works. If I can't accomplish my goals, then if I can't accomplish this goal, how am I going to accomplish the other one? If I don't work, nothing works. If other people were able to accomplish way more than me and come from worse positions, why can't I do it? I understand this. The situation I'm in is nothing compared to what other people have been through, and they've accomplished way more than me. So why can't I just do the same thing? Guys, I'm not here. I need you guys to understand. I'm not here for some surface level, thing, right? I'm posting consistently. You know, I'm documenting my journey. I'm doing all these things because it's bigger than just myself, right? I understand that I am going to transform, and I already have transformed so many people's lives to get into the best shape of their lives, physically and mentally possible. And I understand if I don't show up, if I'm not consistent, how the fuck am I gonna change those lives who need my help? You know how many people out there I see on a day-to-day basis and I'm like, dog, this guy needs my help. I can change this guy's life for the better. But I'm never going to be able to have the opportunity to change his life if I don't get uncomfortable now, if I don't post consistently now, if I don't document my journey now, if I don't do all these things now. And if I don't do all of these now, if I don't sacrifice for all these things now, that person is never going to get the opportunity to change his life for the better. And how selfish would it be for me not to sacrifice myself and not sacrifice all these certain things so that other people can improve their lives for the better and get into the best physical and mental shape of their lives possible. Because I'm so confident in my program, I'm so confident in my ability to transform people's lives and get them into the best physical and mental shape of their life possible, because I went through the same exact thing, and I have so much knowledge and so many things I know, and I have the capabilities of keeping other people accountable because I keep myself accountable on a day-to-day basis. If I keep myself so accountable that I can't not do the things I have to be doing. And I express that same exact effort into my clients, because they say, if you don't keep yourself accountable, how are you going to keep the people around you accountable? If you notice that friend that you have in your life that doesn't care about what you do, he's going to be your friend. It doesn't matter, if you just do the craziest or the dumbest shit ever, you can do the dumbest shit ever and he's not going to care. The reason why he's like this is because he doesn't keep himself accountable. And if he doesn't keep himself accountable, how is he going to keep you accountable? But the last thing I want to say to you guys is thank you for watching this video. If any of you guys are interested in getting into the best physical and mental shape of your lives by building the right habits, they're going to allow you to succeed in life in every single area possible, go ahead and book a call with me down below. And we're going to see if you qualify for my program. But I'm looking forward to speaking with many of you. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and you actually apply the information that I said. Let's get it.